guys, what is up? It is Schuler from the Kill Culture Podcast, and welcome back to Season 1, Episode 8. We are talking about some crazy things today, so I'm very, very excited to dive in and get started. Hey you guys, welcome back to the Kill Culture Podcast. Again, it is your girl Schuler Elliott, the host here on TKC, the Kill Culture. Well, actually, no, it's TKCP, the Kill Culture Podcast. Welcome back. I never use that acronym of TKCP, but yeah. I guess we could start throwing that in there, but welcome back to the Kill Culture Podcast, where we destroy societal norms, kill cultures, and cancel trends. Okay, guys, welcome back. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, a great time with your family, just to chill and eat some good food. I know I ate some good food, played games, hung out. It was just a great time to refresh, to hang out, to chill, and yeah, it was a good time. So I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and we are fully in Christmas season. Like, Christmas music's playing, Christmas festivities have started. I don't know, I gotta be real, like, I don't know how I felt about it. Like, I don't know, I'm usually such a Christmas girly, but like this year it was like, I don't know, before Thanksgiving it was a little hard to get into, and now I feel like I'm a little bit more like deck the halls, you know, and like jingle bells. Like, I feel like I'm more in the spirit now. But before Thanksgiving and everyone was posting about it and stuff, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling Christmas this year, but I'm in it. I'm in a groove now. It's kind of like, yo, I'm rolling with it. It's good. So I hope you guys are enjoying the Christmas season so far. But yes, welcome back to the what is this called? Like, why did I forget what I was doing for like 2.5 seconds? I'm like the podcast. Welcome back. And yeah, you know, I'm very excited about the episode today, because I feel like it's something that just needs to be discussed, something that maybe we all battle with internally and maybe don't share. So I'm happy that this is such a community where we can just be real and open with each other, and also have the privacy to be able to say, hey, I'm dealing with some things, but dealing with them kind of between me and God. And this is a space for you to do that, a space for you to connect and get a word from the Lord and kind of dive into what the Bible says about the issues that we talk about. So today, actually, before I tell you what we're talking about, follow us on social media. Let me throw that plug out there. Go ahead, follow us on social media. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok. What else are we on? We're kind of on everything. On YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check us out on Spotify or Apple Podcast or Amazon Music or Google Podcast. And if you're listening to this on any of those other platforms, you can also watch this on YouTube. But yeah, you guys, the topic of today is how to get your confidence back. And how to stop feeling insecure. We kind of hit both of those topics, and this definitely could be a series, so I might make this a series later on, maybe in the new year, but for now I really just want to kind of touch on how to stop feeling insecure. And you know, it's interesting because going into 2024 and kind of gearing up to 2024, it's like you don't have to wait till 2024 to start working on yourself and to start improving yourself and improving your mind and doing things that you want to do. You can start right now. You can start getting ready and prepare for even the new year now, and then when Christmas comes, enjoy Christmas, chill, and then get right back started and keep working and grind out, so that you don't feel like you're starting from day one in January, but you can feel like you're continuing your journey. So you can absolutely do that. That's probably what I'd say I'm doing, because I just really want to go into 2024 my best. Like, I really want to just go into 2024 with a clear mind, with like my priorities in order, feeling good and just chilling and just vibing and ready just to like kick off 2024 already at this, like, already not even at the starting block, but already just like halfway through the race. Like, I want to just already be going. Even for gearing up for 2024, I want to start doing some episodes of saying, hey, let's all get ready together. How can we get our minds ready? How can we get our priorities in order? How can we start building some great habits for 2024? And that's why we're diving into how to get your confidence back and how to stop feeling insecure, because new habits can't come into place unless we get rid of some old habits that are maybe toxic or hurting yourself or hurting other people or preventing you from living your air quotes best life. So that is what we're diving in today, and we're really preparing our hearts and our minds, and yeah, so I'm very, very excited. And you might have faced some difficult situations, or you might have had something happen in your life, or something that was done to you, or something that you've done to somebody else, or something that you maybe did against yourself, or something that just occurred and it maybe rocked your confidence a little bit, or it kind of made you feel a little insecure, or made you start kind of questioning yourself, or questioning your worth, or questioning your identity, and making you feel less than. And that's okay, because we've all had moments and situations in our life where we've maybe felt a little insecure, or maybe felt a little weak in this area, or maybe felt like we didn't measure up, or maybe you find yourself in a state of constant comparison, or you're comparing yourself to other guys, and you're comparing yourself to other girls. Because, let's not make it sound like that's just a girl thing, having an insecurity or comparison, because that's just as much a male thing as it is a female thing. I don't know why we've gotten in this habit, in this culture of saying that stuff is just for females. And if you feel a little insecure, or if you find yourself comparing yourself to other men, then you're feminine, and that's just not true. So let's eradicate that culture, because men, your emotions and your feelings should be validated just as a woman's emotions and feelings are validated. So you're heard, you're seen, and you're welcome in this platform as well. This isn't just for women. You might be a man and you might be facing some insecurity today. You might be a man and you might be facing some issues with confidence today, and that's okay. You're listening to this podcast, and this is the road to take a step forward and to say, hey, I want to be better, and I want to get over this. So join in, welcome in. Men, you are welcome here on this platform. You are welcome here on this podcast. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump in, men and women included. But yeah, you might have faced something that has rocked your confidence. Maybe it was a comment that someone made, or something someone said, or a relationship that made you feel that way. That's okay, because that's all a part of life. You're always going to be in a state of being knocked down. You're always going to be in a state of having to get yourself back up. And, we've heard many sayings of saying, even when you're knocked down, the whole point of the battle is just making sure you get back up, or you get knocked down, but you don't stay there, stuff like that. So you will get knocked down, but it is true. It's up to you if you want to get back up. But let's break down confidence, okay? Confidence is simply your relationship with yourself. Confidence is the relationship that you've built with yourself. And your confidence doesn't actually have to do with other people. And a lot of people think that, like, oh, my confidence is based on whether or not people think I'm pretty, or whether or not girls think I have big muscles, and that's what my confidence is based on. It's like, no. Your confidence is actually based on how you feel about you. Yeah, it doesn't have to do with outside people. It doesn't have to do with outside sources. And that's what insecurities are for. Like, yes, insecurities have to do with outside people, outside sources, how someone has made you feel, but your confidence is based on how you feel about yourself. It is your perception, how you view yourself, how you feel when you walk into a room, how you feel around certain people, how you feel around a certain individual. That is what your confidence is. The truth is you don't know what other people are thinking. Could they be judging you? Could they be thinking bad things about you? Yeah, sure. Could they be judging your outfit, or judging how you look in that shirt, or judging the way you said something? Sure, they could. Could they be thinking negative things about you? Yeah, they could. But they also could be thinking things that you're not even thinking about. Maybe they're just like, man, I kind of wish I dressed that way, or man, I used to have a shirt like that. They could be thinking something else. So the whole point, I think, is, even in this podcast episode, or even trying to gain confidence back, or how to stop feeling insecure, is to simply stop stressing about the thoughts and opinions of other people. What it comes down to is the opinion of your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and your opinion of yourself. Oh, that's something I kind of always say to people. It's like, if someone's like, oh, do I kind of feel like I look funny in this dress, or look funny in this outfit? And I'm like, hey, like, I personally think you look great. It looks good on you. I'm gonna shoot it to you straight. But it's all about how you feel in that dress. If you don't feel confident in that outfit, if you don't feel confident in that dress, I could tell you all day that you look good, but you're gonna walk into a room and feel insecure because you're not comfortable in it. You don't feel confident in it. You might look great. Other people might be thinking you look great, but what it comes down to is how you feel about you, how you feel about yourself. Anyways, so stop stressing about what everyone else is thinking about, how people are perceiving you, what people are thinking about you. And that's why you can't allow what other people think about you to affect you. You actually have to gain the mental discipline to block out other people's thoughts and their opinions about you. And here's kind of a good rule of thumb. Like, if it's not helpful, if it's not constructive criticism, if it's not from someone you respect, if it's not from someone you know is genuinely trying to help you or push you closer to Christ, and if it's not advice that's pushing you closer to the Lord or helping you in a certain situation, you can kind of discern the difference between a helpful comment and just a nasty comment. If it's not any of those things, the information that the person's giving me or the comment that someone's giving me based on their opinion of me, it's void. I don't care. Why would I care if it's not helpful? Why would I care if it's not pushing me in the direction of the cross? Why would I care if it's not constructive criticism? If it isn't here to make me better, then I can hear it, but it's in through one ear, out the other. I heard an interesting quote the other day, and the quote was, never take comments from someone you wouldn't take advice from. If I wouldn't take advice from you, I'm not taking your comments. Yeah, and that might sound harsh, but it's a harsh world. There are things that are going to be attacking you and trying to lower your self-esteem and lower your confidence and lower your self-worth. And so you have to be harsh with the information that you allow in your mind. Like, my mind is a gate. I have to do everything I can to protect my mind. So I'm not going to allow just any information to come in and enter and allow it to just stir in my mind and manifest there. I'm going to be very protective of it. For me personally, I learned that my confidence simply came from saying, I'm going to do me. And I feel like that's kind of a worldly saying where people say, oh, I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me, boo. I'm going to do my own thing. And I don't mean that in a worldly sense. But what that means is that what you do does not affect what I do. And what you do does not affect how I feel about me. And what you say, it doesn't affect how I feel about Schuler. It doesn't. I don't have to look for approval from other people. I don't have to strive for anything as long as I'm only striving for the approval of Christ, as long as I'm just striving to please him. And my goal, and this is a good goal, I think, for everyone to have it, my life didn't really become independent from the opinions of other people until I made my goal to only focus on trying to please my Father above all else, and to make sure I'm living a life according to his word and not letting myself get affected by other people. And that's life. You're going to be affected by other people. You're going to be affected by comments that they've made. That's life. I would be lying if I sat here and said, yeah, I did that, and that completely made comments and things completely go away from ever affecting me. We're human. But the whole goal is to just continue to try to push ourselves to have a disciplined mind. Otherwise, this world is going to eat you up. If I let every single little thing affect me and belittle me, then it's like I wouldn't get anything done. I wouldn't be myself anymore. I would just be eaten up by the world, and I'd be constantly looking and searching for the approval of other people. And the Bible even says, do not live for the approval of man. And when I saw that verse, I was like, man, I took that really to heart of saying, okay, I could either let this thing bother me and affect me and bring me down and keep me from doing what God has called me to do, or I can only seek the approval of my Father and block out any and every other single distraction that is meant to prohibit me from doing what I was called here to do. I also had to get to the point where I had to ask myself, am I happy with me? Am I happy with Schuler? Am I happy with where I am in life? And if the answer was no, I would ask myself, what can I do to change that? Let me change the things that I can change. And there was like a saying my mom always would say to me. She's like, Schuler, change the things that you can change, but pray to God and ask him for help for the things that you cannot change. And I always loved that, because there are certain things in our life that we have the power to change. We have the power to put an effort into change these certain things that we don't like, but there are some things in our life that we can't change. And then we need to pray to God and surrender to him and ask him for help and the strength to deal with the things and handle the things that we cannot change. So that's what I had to ask myself. And I was like, am I happy with me? And if I'm not, then what can I do to get myself to that place? And if I am happy with me, what can I do to stay in this state? And what can I do to continue in this mindset of being happy with myself and happy with where I'm at? What it comes down to is that your confidence has to be independent from other people. Otherwise, if it's not independent from other people, you're constantly going to be in a state of manipulation where people can manipulate you and people can make you feel some type of way, or people can make you feel insecure or less than. And you never want to give that kind of power and control to people. You never want to give over that power and control over to others where they could have influence over your life, or they could have influence over your emotions and how you feel about yourself. So pushing yourself to the point where your actions don't affect me, your comments, they don't penetrate. And I think that is really where you find freedom. freedom. And that's where you find freedom in Christ of saying, hey, I'm only going to be searching for the opinion of my Lord and Savior. So it is what it is. Cause I mean, I'm rocking with my king. He's rocking with me. We just gonna keep rocking together. So whoever wants to join the train, join the train. If not, then I mean, I guess we'll let you off at the next station, you know? That's kind of the vibe. It's funny because this topic of confidence is kind of controversial in terms of Christianity. It's like, well, that's like pride and no, it's not actually. Okay. Let's kill that culture in Christianity right now, because Jesus could not afford to be affected by the opinions of other people. Jesus could not be affected by the doubt of other people, by the comments that people have made, by the statements that people have made to try to make him feel less than. You got literally God walking on earth, and you got people saying, you aren't God, you're this, you're that, you're that. And he could not afford to be affected by their opinions, because if he was affected by it, he knew that would prevent him from doing his work as Jesus Christ. And I think that's a great example to us and how we should live. And yes, are there going to be comments? Yes, are there going to be people who doubt us? Yes, are there going to be people coming at us left and right? Of course, because that is life. But he had to get to such a state of mental discipline where those comments didn't keep him from doing the work that God called him to do, where those comments did not keep him from doing exactly what the Lord said to do. Literally, his mind was bulletproof. It didn't mean he wasn't human, because he was fully God, but he was fully man. So he felt all of the emotions that we felt. He had all the same temptations we had, but the only difference between him and us is he could constantly choose his purpose over being affected by the opinions of other people. But yeah, I mean, people were coming at Jesus every day, every 2 seconds, and questioning if he was really God, questioning if he was the Son of Man. And there was so much opposition coming from him. People were even saying that Jesus had a demon, or that Jesus was using the power of Satan if he was under demonic influence. And imagine being God and having man, someone you could just crush in a snap. Like, you don't even have to touch him. You don't have to say a word. You can just think it and it'll happen. Imagine being God, and then imagine having people under you say that you got a demon, or you're under demonic influence, or you're using satanic power. Did he go on and did he cry about it? No, I mean, he didn't. He didn't allow his feelings to consume him. He felt them and he dealt with them. He didn't feel them and let them consume him. But even when people were against him, he had to shake it off. Even when people were saying things about him, he had to shake it off and keep moving. He did that because he knew how important his mission was, and he knew how important his life was. Even with the comments and things like that, Jesus never had his identity shaken, because he knew who he was and he knew his identity was secure. We should all be working towards having our identity so secure where we hear comments, and of course they're gonna hurt a little bit, like, ow, like that one hurt, and that's perfectly okay, but not allowing them to penetrate or throw us off from what we were already doing. So real quick, I want to look at 2 definitions of insecurity. The first one is uncertainty or anxiety about oneself. Lack of confidence. Okay. So again, number 1 is uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, lack of confidence. So look at number 1 there. You know how we said that, confidence doesn't have to do with other people. It has to do with yourself. That is literally what this definition is saying, is it's anxiety about oneself. So it's not about other people. It's not even about how other people made you feel. It's about how secure you are in yourself, how secure you are in your own identity. And the second definition is the state of being open to danger or threat, lack of protection. Okay, I love this one. We're going to read it one more time because it's just so fire, Number 2, the state of being open to danger or threat, lack of protection. So I love the first one because it explains kind of the whole theme that confidence has to do with only yourself. But the second one I love because it's saying being open to danger or threat. So when you're in a state of constant insecurity, you're not protected. You are fully open to attack. That's like being out on a battlefield and you put down your gun, you put down your sword, you put down your shield, and you just walk out in the middle of the battlefield and say, here I am. And you just with nothing while they're shooting at you. That's what it's like. You're open to attack. And there's 3 attacks you're open to. Attack from other people, number 1. Attack from the enemy, Satan, number 2. And attack from even yourself, number 3. So let's go ahead and dive into number 1. Being open to attack from other people, okay? When you're in a constant state of insecurity, you're setting yourself up to constantly be affected by other people's actions, their comments, their motives, their words, their love that they they give to you or their lack thereof, the attention they give to you or lack thereof, or even just their opinions about you. But the truth is, you're not always going to be accepted by everyone. And I think the sooner you realize it, the better off you are, because then that is when you will become fearlessly bold in your life, which ultimately that's what you want. I mean, I want to be fearlessly bold. I was even just praying. I'm reading through 1 Samuel right now, so I'm kind of diving into David's life. And King David, he was just so bold and he just didn't care. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he is that faith that stands defiant. He had that defiant faith of being like, I don't care what you say. I don't care that you're doubting me right now. I'm going to kill Goliath and you're going to watch me. Because God is on my side. Like, that's the energy David was on. And that's the energy I'm trying to channel right now and just be like, bruh, come at me because God is in me. And if God is for me, then who can stand against me, right? That is where you become fearlessly bold, where the doubts and opinions of other people, it doesn't affect my relationship with God and it doesn't affect what God already said about me, because that's how secure I am in him. And I mean, we talked about David a little bit, but Esther, go read the story of Esther if you have not read it. Esther was a queen, and she was also fearlessly bold. Like, she did her thing. She was bold. I encourage everyone to go read it if we're talking about boldness, okay? But going back to talking about acceptance, you don't want to be accepted by everyone. And it's like, well, wait a minute, Shuler, wait a minute. Yeah, I do. I want to be accepted by everyone. I kind of want everyone to like me. The truth is not everyone is going to like you. And here's how you should start saying it. I don't want to be accepted by everyone, because if I am, that means there's nothing that's special about me. I'm just generic. There is nothing that makes me different from the next person. And I want to be different from the next person. I don't want to just be like every other girl, every other woman, I don't want to be like everybody else. That means I'm not going to be accepted by everyone else. And that's perfectly okay, because I'm not everyone. So I shouldn't be accepted by everyone. So that's kind of a perspective switch if you're kind of struggling with acceptance or struggling with rejection. Jesus, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, he was rejected. So I think the real question is just what makes you different. And Jesus was rejected because he was different and because he stood out and because he wasn't their perfect idea of what the Son of Man should look like. And I think that's just a really great even testimony and reminder to us of saying it is 100% okay to be different, and we should celebrate being different and celebrate having a different mindset and having different abilities, because I don't want to be like everyone else. I don't want to be accepted by everyone else, because then that just means I'm standard. I want to be standard, not standard. So I'm not going to act standard. Number 2, so the second area of attack is you're open to attack from the enemy. The enemy will attack your weak spots. Like, I want to make that very, very clear. A lot of people, when they join this walk with God and they start on their relationship with Christ and they think, oh, like I shouldn't be facing any battles. It's like, no. You're going to face battles, but the only difference now is that you are fighting with the power of God, and that is a whole game changer. And every single battle is already won because he went before you. He is fighting alongside you, but he also already gave you victory. So you're fighting a fixed fight that you're going to win, and that is in 100% in your favor. So that is why you should join this walk. And also, of course, being secure in eternity of knowing I'm going to be spending the rest of my life in heaven with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I'm not going to be bound by a life of destruction and going to hell after I die. Like, I'm not going to have hell on earth and then have hell not on earth after I die. I'm like, bruh, no thank you. You can keep that. But the enemy will attack your weak spots, and the enemy knows your weak spots because the enemy has been spending your entire life studying you and analyzing you and figuring out what your weak spots are. So the enemy knows your strengths, and he also knows your weaknesses. That's why there are some areas you're never even attacked in, and that's why there are some areas where you're attacked in all the time, because he's like, yeah, she's strong in that area, yeah, he's strong in that area, so let me not mess with him in that way. Like, let me just leave him alone because he's kind of strong in that area, but he's weak in this area, so let's just, like, demons, like, let's just hit him here, let's just get him there, because that's where he's weak. And the whole point of the enemy learning your weaknesses is so that he can destroy you and that he can make you fall, because that's his whole purpose. You know, the word says the enemy is here to kill, to steal, and to destroy. He has made a lifetime career in destruction. He's made a lifetime career in murder, and that isn't just killing physically. That's trying to kill people mentally and get them to die up here in their head. I'm not giving credit to the enemy, but I am validating his ability to attack the mind. That is real. we said, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. You have Jesus Christ, the Trinity on your side. That is, of course, if you have accepted him, and I highly recommend you do that, to accept him as Lord and Savior and pray that prayer and join this team where we have power and authority that you didn't have before. The way to beat the enemy at his own game is to get to the answer first, and to get to the root of the problem first, and get to the root of your insecurity. How do I feel? Why do I feel this way? What caused me to feel this way? And you might be saying, okay, that's great. How do I get to the root of the problem? Well, how do I get to the root of my insecurity? How do I beat the enemy at his own game? You got to identify the insecurity first. First step is identify. What am I feeling insecure about? What knocked my confidence? And I highly recommend writing this stuff down. If you want to type it in your phone, you can do that. I like writing stuff down in a journal. It's just a little bit more private that way. I can have some more self-discovery that way. I just like it a little bit better, but it's up to you. But these are even just things that you can think about. What am I feeling insecure about, and what exactly knocked my confidence? What was the moment? What was the situation? You know, and then after that, step 2 is make a list. What exactly are my insecurities? Let me write them down. Let me like visually see them on paper, on my phone. Like, what are the things I feel insecure about? And just list them. Even if it sounds dumb, this is only for you. This is not for you to share with other people. Write it down. Is it rejection? Is it body comparison? Inadequacies? Feeling like nothing ever works out for you? Feeling like you'll never get love? Feeling like you'll never get a relationship? Like you'll never reach your goals? And then thirdly, remind yourself of the specific moments where you felt like your confidence was absolutely wrecked. Like those exact situations where you can think back and be like, I remember in this moment, this is the turning point and it made me feel like XYZ. This brought on the insecurity that I've been dealing with. This is how that made me feel. Write those specific situations out. This will be very, very helpful and beneficial to you to just see them and for you to know. And then like ask yourself, what was the emotion that I was feeling in that moment? And why? Why did I feel that way? And it might sound crazy, but I have you doing this because when you do this, you can then see what exactly triggered your emotions and triggered your feelings. And then you can uproot them, and then you can cast them out, and then you can get rid of them, and then you can identify them so that when the enemy does attack you, because he will attack you in this area again, because it's where you're weak, then you can know, I identify that this was a hurt spot of mine. I identify that this is a weak spot, and I can now be aware of it, and I can build defense to it. Because I guarantee you, if you've been attacked there in that specific area before, you will be attacked there in that specific area again. And it will happen over and over and over and over again as long as that's a weak spot, as long as that is a sore spot. Because once Satan identifies a weak spot in your life, in your mind, he will just keep tapping and keep hitting that weak spot until you fall, because that is his ultimate goal. But if you know your own weaknesses, if you know your weak spots, you can then build defense to it, which will then make you stronger and healthier moving forward. If you know where the enemy is going to attack already before he even attacks, you can already be prepared. You can already be building up resistance to it. You can already be strengthening that area. You can already identify, hey, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this weak? And then the enemy's like, dang, that trick didn't work. Dang, I tried to attack her. Dang, I tried to make her feel insecure. Dang, I tried to make him feel insecure. Dang, I had this guy cheat on her so that she would feel insecure. I had this boy tell her this so that she would feel insecure. I would have this girl make him feel less than as a man, because then he'd be insecure. But if you already know the areas that the enemy's going to attack, you can get to that area first and you can strengthen it so that when the enemy does attack you in that area, you won't fall, because you've already built up strength and resistance and defense in that area. So if you already know yourself and you know the battle and you know your weak spots, that's like 75-80% of the battle. But if you don't know yourself and you never learn and never study your weak spots, then you are just setting yourself up for multiple sucker punches, just left and right and left and right, because you're letting the enemy know you better than you know yourself. And you should never allow the enemy to know you better than you know yourself. He should not know your strengths and your weaknesses while you're left clueless. I don't know what my strengths and weaknesses are, but he does. Like, I'm not gonna let the enemy know me better than I know myself. Like, I'm not gonna let the enemy know my weaknesses and then try to attack my weaknesses, and I'm just clueless and I have no idea what my weaknesses are. Identify them, and that's why that list is so important, of making that list of identifying what are the areas that I'm weak, what are the areas that I'm struggling with, what are the areas that I feel weak in, because I know that these are the areas that the enemy's gonna attack. But I mean, I don't want anyone to fear with the attacks, because in Isaiah 54:17 it says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me in judgment I condemn. So no weapon, that's a weapon, and it will be formed. Sure, is a weapon going to be formed at me? Is this comment right in my weak spot? Is it going to affect me a little bit? Is it going to sting a little bit when it's shot? Yes, but it won't prosper, meaning it won't take me down and it won't take me out. And when you identify your weaknesses in those situations, in those moments, you can heal yourself and you can uproot those feelings and those emotions, and then you can tear them down with the truth. So you have to identify and find the lie and then cancel them out with the truth. If the enemy says that I'm rejected, that I'll never be accepted, then I can cancel those lies out with the truth, because I know that I am not rejected, but that I am chosen. So that's why getting into the word is so important, and really just reading the Bible for yourself and identifying what are my weak spots so that you can literally cancel those weak spots out with the truth. I'm not rejected. I am chosen. I am chosen by God. And then I can secure that truth with, I know that he's for me and he is not against me, and I know that my Father has good plans for me and for my life. If I know the truth, if I know that I'm secure in the truth of God's word, then the lies of the enemy become completely irrelevant. The lies that other people have spoken about me and spoken over me become completely irrelevant. The way that I've felt in the past with past situations or past moments that hurt, those moments become completely irrelevant, because I know who I am in Christ and I know who he created me to be. Deuteronomy 14:2 says, for you are a people holy to the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a people for his treasured possession. Out of all the peoples who are on the face of the earth, you're chosen. And that's just an example. If I feel rejected, I'm going to match myself with a verse that says I am chosen. So that the moment I feel that way, it's like, that is actually not true, because this is what the Lord has already spoken about me. This is what the Lord has spoken over my life. And I'm coming into agreement with the truth that the Lord has spoken about me, versus coming into agreement with the lie that the enemy is trying to influence me with. And it really is hard, because when you are faced with a lie from the enemy, you're faced with the temptation to believe that lie. And it's a temptation to come in agreement and say, yes, okay, if the enemy is saying I'm rejected and whispering that in my ear and making me feel that way, it's easy, and it's a temptation to say, you're right. I am rejected. No one will ever love me. No one will ever like me. I'll never get the relationship I want. I'll never do this. I'll never be successful. I'll never graduate. I'll never do all of these different things. So it is a temptation to believe the lies that have been spoken over you, but that's where your willpower comes in. It's saying, I refuse to come into agreement with that thought. I refuse to come into agreement with that lie, because I already know the truth. It is just up to me to believe the truth or side with the lie. It is up to me to pick a side. But we know in 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. So let's pause there. No temptation has overtaken you, meaning no temptation has taken you out, and you have not faced a temptation that other people have not faced, that other people have not gone through, that other people have not conquered, that Jesus himself has not faced and conquered. Let's continue on. But God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. So right there, it's saying God will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can handle. Your temptation is at the level of your ability to handle that temptation, meaning he's never going to give you anything more than you can handle. So if you're just like, I can't handle this, it's like, actually, if you're facing it, that means you can handle it, because God is not going to put you in a battle that you're not already set up to win. Continuing on in the verse, but with the temptation, he will also provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. So all of these temptations are set up for you to win. All of these temptations that you're facing in your life, that you're facing, these hardships, these battles that you're going through, these insecurities and these doubts, you are set up in the situation to win. Jesus Christ has not put you in any battle that you have not already won, that you do not have the ability to win. So he sets up a way out of that temptation every single time. But what it comes down to is your willpower to take the way out, to conquer the temptation, to take the way out, to conquer the mental battle that you're facing. So we all have insecurities and we all have fears and we all have things that we face that have made us feel insecure, that have hurt us in the past. But we make the choice to allow those thoughts and those insecurities to control us and to control our minds, to control our actions, to control what we do and how we feel about ourselves. And don't be discouraged with dealing with insecurity, because dealing with insecurity is step one to conquering insecurity. Everyone is on that journey. We've all had little things that have made us insecure. It doesn't mean, oh, I'm an insecure person. I'm not saying you're an insecure person, but every single person has insecurities, things that have made them feel insecure in specific moments. So now we move on to number 3. Insecurity makes you open to attack from even yourself. Until you deal with insecurity, your mind will always be an inescapable war zone. When you are dealing and facing insecurity, you're always coming against yourself. And it's a war zone in your mind because you always have these thoughts that are against you. Like, it's the thoughts of your mind, but all of the thoughts are against you. You're rejected. They'll never love you. You'll never have friends. You'll never have a relationship. You'll never feel attractive. You'll never feel confident in a room. Like, they don't even see you. They don't even hear you. They don't even listen to you. They don't even like you. They don't like spending time with you. There are all of these thoughts that come into your mind, and they always come against you. It's easier to flow with the thoughts that come against yourself. Why is that? Because when you're insecure, you're opening yourself to attack from yourself. You become your own worst enemy because of your mind. And we know that Satan is the source of that. Satan has trained you to be your own worst enemy. He put you versus you. He made you your own worst enemy in your life. And it's because you keep repeating the lies that he says about you back to yourself. And that's his whole goal. It's like a game for him. It's a sick game, but it's a game to him. I feel like if you are experiencing heavy insecurity in this season, invite God in to heal you. Chase your Father. I remember, there was a time, this was a really long time ago, where I was just like hurt. Like, I was just walking in hurt feelings. I was just walking in a broken heart. Like, I was just hurt. And I remember one verse that really just kept me going was, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. That's a promise from God, is he heals the brokenhearted and he will bind up your wounds. And that was just a verse I just held on to and kept meditating on and thinking about. I'm like, he's going to heal my heart. He's going to bind up my wounds. He's going to heal my heart. He's going to bind up my wounds, And in the moment, it can be hard to kind of hold on to that. But I even thought about it today during my prayer time, and I was like, man, God is a promise keeper. It just came to mind, and the Lord just reminded me, like, hey, I'm a promise keeper. And I told you then that I would heal your broken heart and I would bind up your wounds. And I did that. And it was just so clear. And I was just like, Lord, you're so good, because it's true. Like, he heals the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds. I can honestly say, from being in that position and being in that place. And if you're in that position and you're in that place today where you feel like you're facing a broken heart, you feel like you have some open wounds, he will heal the broken heart right now in your life. And he will bind up your wounds. I just want to encourage you to chase God in this season, because I was there, and use this time to really stick to God like glue, because he is for you. He is not against you. He has good plans in your life. He has good plans for you. But he's like, just come to me and let me lead you. Let me guide you. Let me heal you, so that you can be prepared for the next thing in your life, and so that you can live a full and happy life. So if you're facing, insecurity or heartbreak or anything like that today, invite God in to heal you. Chase God. Open up your word. Start building a relationship with God. Put on your worship music. Get into the word. Start praying to God, and just develop a relationship with him, and watch the work that he does in your life. Your mind will only be at peace when you pray to God for healing in that area of your life. If you're looking for a relationship to heal you, to bring you happiness, if you're looking for a specific person to heal you, to bring you happiness, that's an empty pursuit. Because those things, those people, a substance, drink, and be like, I'm just going to drink my problems away. I'm just going to get high one more time just to numb the pain, to numb how I'm feeling, to ignore my problems. They're empty pursuits, because actually they only make the matter worse, because there is only one person, one thing that can heal you, and that is a relationship with Jesus Christ, and that is his healing power. So if you're feeling like you're struggling in a certain area, pray and ask God for healing in that area specifically. And is that going to all of a sudden make your insecurities go away? No, but that is how you build up a defense to your insecurities, so that when they're attacked again, you're not even affected. You don't even feel it, because God has healed you in that area. You guys, this episode is so long. I'm splitting it up into 2 parts. So this is how to get your confidence back, how to defeat insecurity, part 1. Part 2 is going to be coming out in 1 week. So thank you for joining in on the Kill Culture podcast. Make sure you follow us on social media. Tune in next week, because next week we have a lot of things to cover. We have a lot of really great points and things like that are going to help you guys defeat insecurity and get your confidence back. So make sure you tune in. I cannot wait to see you guys next week on the Kill Culture podcast. And yeah, go ahead, feel free to check out any other episodes that you have not seen yet. Tap in, lock in, and again, join us next week for our next episode, part 2 of how to get your confidence back and how to defeat insecurity. Bye.